Okay, let me tell you a hypothetical story. So, we have a small business owner and recently medyo stressed, medyo hilo siya because she lost a corporate contract worth almost, let's say, 2 million pesos. Why? Because the client asked her one question she couldn't answer. Do you track scope 3 emissions? And she replied, Scope 3? Ano yan? After that, silence. And then the email ending with, we regret to inform you. So, alam mo na yung susunod dyan sa statement na yan. So, you see, this is hypothetical story, but you can also understand that it's not really her fault. Scope 3 is confusing. It's very technical. Technical na siya, and then all of a sudden, the companies are suddenly requiring it. So today, we are going to break it down the root and ripple way. Super clear, super light, zero jargon hangover. And after this video, if someone asks you about scope 3, hindi ka na magpapanik. You'll just breathe, smile, and confidently say, scope 3. Sige, let me explain. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Imagine you own a halo-halo stand. O, diba? Per month na, pero very summer yung binigay kong business. Now, picture your little stand with the fridge humming, ice melting, ube glowing in its purple glory. And behind all of that is a long invisible trail of carbon emissions. Scope 1 is the easiest to picture. Ito yung ikaw mismo. These are the emissions you directly create. If you're cooking your beans or leche flan using LPG, that's scope 1. If you have a delivery motorcycle and you use it to bring orders to your customers, that's scope 1 too. Basically, if you burn fuel yourself or you own the equipment that does the burning, that's you. That's scope 1. Scope 2 is what I like to call borrowed power. These are the emissions that come from the electricity you buy. So for example, if your halo-halo freezer is plugged into the Meralco socket, whatever emissions were produced to power that, that's your scope 2. Hindi ikaw ang nag-produce ng emissions, pero ikaw ang nagkaroon ng benefit. So in this case, you are the customer. Now, here comes the really confusing scope, no? Scope 3. If scope 1 was you and scope 2 was your electricity, scope 3 is literally everything else you touch. So let's go back to your halo-halo stand. Yung sugar na ginamit mo, scope 3 yan. So the milk delivered from somewhere where you sourced it, that's also scope 3. The plastic cups that you order from your supplier, that's also scope 3. The delivery rider on his motorcycle delivering your ingredients, that's also scope 3. The waste you generate when you throw away plastic, cardboard, or leftover ingredients, that's also scope 3. And yes, sometimes even your customers' commute to buy your product can also count as scope 3. So scope 3 is the entire story of your value chain. It's the biggest part of your footprint, but it's also the hardest to measure because you don't control it. Hindi mo naman hawak yung supplier mo. You don't know how they transport your orders. You don't know how efficient their factory is. And even if you ask, sometimes hindi rin nila alam. It's giving group project pero walang nag-submit ng part nila. Diba? And that's the reason why Scope 3 is the most feared part of ESG reporting. It's not because it's impossible. It's because there are so many moving parts you don't own. But here's the good news. Small businesses don't need to be perfect. You just need to be transparent. So, what can a small business owner actually do? First, you list what you buy and what you sell. Think ingredients, materials, packaging, transportation, waste. Once you have that, start collecting the simplest data. How much did you buy? Where did it come from? And how far did it travel to get to you? You don't need scientific measurements. Basic lang. So kilos, liters, pieces, kilometers. And once you have that, you can start estimating your emissions. This is where people get scared because they think, oh no, math na to. But honestly, doesn't have to be complicated. So we have in the link below a carbon emissions calculator para hindi na kayo mahilo sa Excel formulas. It's clean, simple, and exactly for people who need a starting point but don't have time to be full-time environmental scientists. For beginners, you can start with very basic estimates. So, how much did you spend? How much did you buy? How far did things travel? This is what we call bronze level reporting. Ha? It's not perfect, it's not complete, but it's honest. And right now, honesty is better than nothing. So companies don't expect you to be flawless. They just expect you to be trying. And here's the exciting part. If you start doing this now, you automatically gain a competitive edge. Big companies love suppliers who can provide even basic sustainability data. It signals that you are future ready, that you're serious, and that onboarding you won't be a headache when 2026 sustainability rules fully tighten up. You make yourself more attractive in a world where procurement teams are already adding ESG requirements to their checklists. Think of it like skincare. If you start early, the glow up becomes permanent. But if you start late, ayun lang, medyo good luck na lang in catching up. So that's scope 3. It's everything you touch outside your walls. It's the story of your suppliers, your customers, your packaging, your transportation, and even your trash. It's complicated, yes, but it's also very manageable once you understand how it flows. If you want a simple way to start measuring your own emissions, I will leave the link to our carbon emissions calculator below. It's beginner friendly and perfect for SMEs who want to start strong before 2026. And if you know someone with a business, your sibling, your inaanak na entrepreneur, your tita with an online shop, send them this video para hindi sila mapag-iwanan. And of course, please follow Root and Ripple for more lawyer-friendly, jargon-free Kikai sustainability guides every week or every other week. So I hope to see you again in the next video. Thank you again. Bye!